Somehow I changed up here. Wonder what's going on with that me
I was
there.
going to say Invisimark.
That's
Not
not
quite.
good.
Floaty mark.
That's not good at all. Interesting. Okay.
Nice to see those levitation skills are paying off.
I'm not sure what the heck just happened there, but hopefully we won't see that again. Fred, you got any idea? No. Fred as usual. Fred as usual. Don't you point at me like it's my fault, man. Don't you point at me. Let's get some Code Rush music going here.
Mm-hmm.
Here it comes. Tony Girl is in here.
That's not Code Rush music.
This code is so good, kids.
Oh yeah.
It's in gold, man. He's the only guy I know who codes in solid gold text.
Coding Gorilla bringing the awesome.
Welcome, Coding Gorilla. Glad you're here. Let me show you where we kind of left off yesterday. I did a little bit of work since we finished between the end of the show yesterday and this morning.
Okay.
I'll show you what we've got here. Let's go into Lady and we'll start bringing up some conditions. Here's the conditions coming up. So we got this.
Oh, very nice.
I don't think you saw this.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, look at this. Look at how natural
That is
this is.
so stylish.
Isn't that cool?
I feel like there should be a wrecking ball comes in at some point and just topples them all, but perhaps that's asking too much.
Yeah, not bad. I think we finished this yesterday, or we got really close, and there was I just lost my my video. Give me a second while I freeze my face in position here and test my ventriloquism skills.
They're not bad.
Likely also I'm going to deactivate and reactivate my camera. There it is. That'll work too. Did you add the click sound after the stream, or did I just miss it from yesterday? I think I may have added that after the stream as well. So if I take out blinded, listen to what happens. And listen and watch. Isn't that cool?
Oh, so good.
And that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to give it a more natural kind of feel, like kind of a playful kind of thing there. Yeah. And so we were working on this yesterday. I think there was a bug in there. It didn't take a lot after the show. I remember I was saying I'm going to take some time, to think about it. And I came back to it, and I was like, oh, here it is right here. And it was, that's kind of how it always kind of happens like that. I added the explosion animation was based on the stuff we were talking about yesterday with Codebase Alpha, who he was saying, well, he said, in fairness, let's do teddy bears, but I found some confetti. So you can see the confetti going there. So that's kind of a shout out right there to...
It's all looking pretty good.
It's not bad. And if we switch over to another character, like Fred, for example, it's the same stuff, but it's just tinted blue, right? So I can... Right, everything's the same there, over there on that side.
Yeah.
And I'm just using the Stream Deck here to... Now, one thing that can happen, though, is this. See that right there? If I'm jamming the buttons, we can get to a state where it looks like that. But what I did is I added a restack button, this thing right here, which if I hit that button, it'll just stack them essentially in the same order as they appear. So you'll see them kind of in alphabetical order from top to bottom.
Yep.
But that may not be entirely true. I'm not sure if that's actually the case or not. This button's temporary. I just added this so I can quickly refresh. If I make any changes to the code, I want to quickly hit the refresh button, and that's the fastest way to do it if I'm already got the Stream Deck open. So that's a temporary button. I'll get rid of that. All right. So it's not bad. It looks good, but we still have things on our list. So let me drop some of these down here. Let's get rid of restrained, poisoned, sleep, petrified. And also notice we're making use of the sound where we can play pick one of several random sounds. And so it sounds a little bit different each time.
Going on in there,
yeah. Same thing when they come on screen too. If I bring it on, you listen to the sounds from when it comes on screen. See a little bit different whooshing as they're coming in. And that just kind of adds to the more natural kind of sense of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So again, this is Overkill Productions, right? This is one small facet of D&D, which are conditions. It's essentially an enum, and we spent at least a day working on this, right, to get this all working. But this is what I wanted it to look like, and I wanted it to feel like this. I also want, as the stack goes up, I want it to change the scale. So that's one of the things I think we're going to work on today as the stack gets higher, so it can support, any number of these.
Yep.
And I also wanted to it'd be a real satisfying kind of thing for the dungeon master. And I think we've accomplished that as well. And I think we do that in two ways. One is with the sound effects and kind of the immediacy of just pushing the button and seeing them pop up. And I think the second thing, I guess there's two things that make it feel satisfying. And that is that when this thing goes up, it just is thrown with the right velocity to land right in the right spot, right? We did some very cool things here to make it so that, as this comes up, it looks and feels super, super natural.
Essentially, it lands with the same kind of degree of impact no matter where, because it's sort of lost velocity to just the same level.
Yeah.
And that means, of course, that the same sound makes sense in all those different cases.
True.
Or at least the variations on a theme.
True. Somewhere in here we got a picture of all of this. I think I put it in here. Is that right? I thought there it is right there. So this is how we figured this out, right? We basically said, look, we know where we're going to land. Let's figure out our fall distance. That's going to be a constant. That's going to give us our apex. Then we got to figure it out. We're going to start below ground, and then we got to figure out this distance, what velocity is going to make us travel up this distance given the gravity that we have. We started out with Earth's gravity right there at the top of the screen, and I wanted it to kind of bend a little faster, and so I bumped up the acceleration on that by about 1.8. So just took Earth's gravity multiplied by that, so that's what gives that curve. But we can change that curve, we can change a lot of things, but that's kind of what we did. And so we did that math yesterday, and I'm going to call this, we are rewarded today by something that, this is what I imagined it was going to feel and look like, although I have to tell you, it feels better. Actually, when I imagine things, it's not with the resolution that we're seeing and feeling right here. So
Indeed,
so anyway,
that
good.
makes sense.
Again, I want to emphasize this is kind of overkill because, the chances that somebody's going to have a condition so far really hasn't happened with the DM that we're playing with, the dungeon master we're playing with. But my guess it'll happen more often. But if it happens, it'll probably be only one. We're not going to deal with a stack. Like somebody might be charmed for a little bit, and then they might lose it. So that's kind of more of the kind of animation that people will be seeing. But I want to make it so that it can support any level, right? That's what I want to do. So we're going to finish that work today. The problem we have is that if we go into battle, so let me just put a couple of these up here like this, and let's go over into Lady as well, and we'll throw a couple up for her like this. Everything's fine right now, but watch what happens when we go into battle. Let me turn off the Code Rush music for a second as we play with the battle sequence, because that starts music. There, you can see right there. So it doesn't move when the
it also shifts into the background relative to the nameplates.
Yes, well, it's always in the back. We're going to be behind him, but if it's in the right position, it'll be right on the edge, and so you're not able to tell if one's in front of the other or not. Really.
Sure. Okay.
Except for the fact that the glow is going to be behind the name tag. That's your one clue. I'm a fan of that one, by the way. That one I like more than I thought I would. I'm like, it's cool.
It's like, I don't know. All I can sort of compare it with, and it's kind of sad, is that there's like some kind of a specter that's sort of just swarming up.
You're right.
Just enveloping everything.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I think we wrote that on Friday. I don't think you were here for that. Were you, Rory? Do you remember seeing us write?
I think I was here for the initial graphics.
Yes, that was like a while back.
For the complete effects.
Yeah, no, we did it on last Friday, I think. And we have I think something like 5 frames at 30 frames a second in which we can make that die disappear to make that whole trick work, right? Yeah. And it was really kind of fun and exciting to do the math and see that and just have it work, and the die's gone, and the whole thing it's so convincing to me, because when those dice go away, you still see the dice as the cloud is shrinking and starting to envelop the die, right? So it's like going just like this, and you've got like I say, you have about 3 or 4 or 5 frames where you can make that die disappear, and in that time frame to make the whole thing believable. Okay, so that's one of the problems. The second problem is now if we were to change any conditions, specifically to add something new, let's add with Miles right now. We'll add a charm condition to Miles. Notice the sizes are different now, right? For the new ones coming out. So I've got scaling kind of working, right? Because it sees that we're in battle, and figuring we're
So
in
it
battle.
creates them at scale, but doesn't shift them to that scale if
That's
they're
right.
already on screen.
That's correct. And so, which makes things problematic. If we were to come
So
into
what happens if you shift out of combat now and give Miles more things?
Well, before I do that, let's do that. But before I do that, I'm going to give Fred a couple things, and watch how.
Okay.
See where it stacks?
Yeah.
It's in the right spot, but it's low because it thinks all the other ones underneath it are low.
Sure.
Okay. So
we'll
if
get the reverse of that.
Yeah,
if
we'll
we
get the
do
reverse
this.
of it. Let's exit combat. Now notice the ones that were put on during combat are far away, and we'll go back and give Miles some new conditions like incapacitated right there. And there you see, so you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our challenge today. That's one of
Does
them.
your not the refresh, but you had another restack? Does that have an effect at this point?
Nope, they still won't change. Here, I'll hit it.
Uh,
See it?
okay. Yeah, it's interesting either way, though, isn't it?
Yeah. So we need to deal with scale, and as usual, I did zero prep for this. I have no idea. Let me get rid of some of these in here. So it's Ruby's here already.
Bring us some more bricks.
Just on time. Smoopy in the house.
Hello, Mr. Spoofy. Welcome.
Welcome.
Come on in.
Let me just get rid of some of these here. Incapacitated, invisible, paralyzed, petrified. There we go. Got rid of those. Let's get rid of ladies ones as well. She's got charmed, deafened, fatigued, and frightened right there. And then finally go to Fred. And here you can see, I'm going to get rid of them from the bottom up. So if I get rid of sleep, watch what happens. Right, see, it thinks it doesn't realize they're different sizes, right? So we need to fix that. Poison, paralyzed, incapacitated.
I mean, to some extent, it's good because the code that's running now needs to continue running the same way.
Yeah.
What we just need to do is to update those existing graphics and positions so that they're using the non-scaled version or the correctly scaled versions.
I agree.
So hopefully not too much work to do here.
Here's the problem: is that I gotta go figure out. I got to figure out where. I got to figure out some places where the code goes, and I don't know where that code is.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this. There's actually something else I want to do too, which is right now I have the scale. Let's go find it's in here. I guess I could do this. Type in scale. I thought it would be, what is it, get scale? Get condition scale, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. I have this code right here. This is where it decides it, but basically it just says, hey, if we're in combat. Okay. The nameplate renderer is the piece that we use to figure out get plate width. Okay. But we really want is not only do we want the width of the plate, so that tells us where to line up, right? Because I know that the center of my player is here. The width of my player is like, is from here to here, right? If I'm talking about my plate, my nameplate Merkin right below me here, right?
Yep.
But the thing is, I don't know how much distance from the edge of this plate to the edge of the other one. That would inform me as to what scale I should be at, whether I can fit a wide one or whether I need to fit a smaller one.
Right.
Okay.
So it's not sort of get circumstances. Well, not get mode, but get available resource, circumstance, area, that kind of thing.
Yes, that's what's going on. So this get condition scale kind of needs more data. This is where I think it's going to take us a while to figure this out. To be honest, I think we're going to be like hunting around. If we get this in 20 to 40 minutes, I'll be like, if we get it in 20 minutes, I'll be like, that's awesome. We get it in 40, I'll be like, that's about what I'm expecting. And if we get it in an hour and whatever, I'm like, yeah, that could happen too. So we're going to try and figure that out. This is kind of interesting. Get nameplate left edge, restack conditions. Where am I getting my scale from? I think I'm passing it in, or no, I'm not. No, I'm getting it right here. Okay, that's actually good news. So in restack conditions, I'm getting the scale at this point. Okay, let's make notes of a couple things we need to do, because when change condition scale if needed. So this one right here is kind of important. This one is something we don't have support for yet, but we need to figure that out. And to do that, we need to know when the nameplate renderer, when there's some kind of change on the nameplate renderer. We need to know that.
It's interesting. If you've got a facility to get the left edge of a nameplate and you already know the index of the player that you are, then potentially you can get the left edges of more than one and calculate distance between them. And would that not inform which mode you're in?
Well,
what
no,
the available space is?
That will inform what scale. I'm good with that. But what it doesn't give me is it doesn't give me the notification, which I'm thinking about right now, when scale changes. So,
I see.
So I want to kind of,
I
want to jump out to that and see and take a look at how are we going to know when we need to update some kind of scale, because I don't want to do the work every time we draw a frame. We could. My computer would probably barely even sigh because of that extra work. It'd be like, ho hum, or meh, is what my computer would do. But I kind of want to be more efficient, is what I'm thinking here. What's going on with my nameplate? Let's go out here and look for anything with nameplate on it. I'm hoping for, as usual, I think when you're in this situation, you're looking for one single point of entry, right? This is like whenever I'm refactoring or I don't know if refactoring is the right word, but revising architecture to do something new, I'm always relieved when I find a single point of entry, and I'm always stressed when there are multiple calls into, maybe multiple ways of doing something or something like that. So, so that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. Looking for like a refresh nameplates. What do we got here? Oh, cool. We did this with some work before. This is actually super cool. Refresh nameplates calls move all targets. We need this. Move all targets. Hold on. Is that down in the player stat manager? It is. Sweet. Okay, I think we can do this in 20 minutes instead of 40. I think we got a shot at this. Okay, so I'm going to call this create, now that one says move all conditions is what I'm going to do. Is that enough data? Is that enough? I don't know if we're going to have enough parameters. We'll find out soon. I'm going to duplicate this and just paste that in there, hit escape there, accept everything else. Let's see, what are we going to do? Get player target X. We had another one which was get nameplate left edge. What does it need? What are its parameters? Let's make sure we've got the right parameters in the right places here. Context. I get player X. Player ID, yep. And players list, cool. And I don't think I need to do any of this on it. Okay, so that's cool. We've got a nameplate left edge. I think I want to do, let's see, let's go in here a second. What is going on with this? This is interesting. It's just using the get player target X code we wrote to grab the target position for it. I think I want to do, let's jump into get player target X, see what that looks like. So to get the space, I need to kind of get the right edge given.
Yeah.
I need to figure out the space. hold on. Player index.
We got a plate width.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna create something similar to this. Get space left of plate. Okay. All right. So player index is going to come in here like this. Hold on a second. I'm going to come back here. I want to look at what's going on with get player X. I've got a subtraction happening here on that one. Nothing happening here on this one. The player targeting. That's just because I still want the target. Get nameplate left edge. Okay, sweet. So I've got this. I was looking for this kind of thing. It's minus the plate margin is what it is. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is come back to where I was. And I want to just put that, I want to comment down, I want to comment that for now. So this is my player index. This is for the current player. What I'm thinking I want to do is I want to say, hey, look, so that's index from the left. So Fred is 0, Miles is 1, Lady is 2, I'm 3, and then that's 4. So it starts at 0 and it goes across like that. It's different from a player ID, but there's a map. So when I call get player index, it goes to the map and it gets back the index. If the index is at 0, which means we're at Fred, okay, if player index is equal to 0, then whatever is the left position here, hold on.
Well, the space is from 0 to the left of this particular nameplate, i.e. it's whatever the left of this particular nameplate is.
So I was looking at the code, Rory, and I was like, and I think I agree with what you said. It is to the left. So
you
basically,
don't have to find a player to the left of this from which to start, because it is simply the left edge of the screen.
No, you're absolutely right. And I was just looking at, I'm trying to simplify the code is what I was just looking at this, and I was realizing I can't really simplify what's going on here because of this plate adjust. I can't really stick it on the end of this because it actually uses this in its equation. So, so I kind of need to keep the same code. I'm just trying to duplicate these blocks. I'm trying to avoid duplication of these blocks of code that are kind of similar. So I think I'm going to have to extract one into its own method is what I'm going to do. So
sometimes I find when I write the longhand version and then I can see the patterns more easily, and then the extraction is slightly easier, but it depends on the nature of the code.
Sure. Let's take a look at this. I was just trying to get something useful on this. This plate adjusts. This gets the target edge right here. So there's some actual code for the player targeting, which is happening here. The plate margin is, what is that? That's 7, as I recall. Yeah. Or maybe as I recognize, not recall. I was like, what is that? And I thought, I was like, oh yeah. So I think what we have to do,
you kind of want to get the left player's right edge, except in the case of Fred, where that value is 0.
Yep. No,
and then subtract that.
Sorry, Roy. I get that. I'm not stuck. I get that. I am just what I'm stuck on is trying to simplify the code, and I think the way I'm going to do it is this. Actually, I'm going to call this player target X on it for me, for this character is what I'm going to do. Like this. So let's get in there. Let's clean up all those. Get the parameters right. All right. So there's mine. 0 to Hero Dev. What a great name, 0 to Hero Dev. Glad you're with us, 0 to Hero Dev. Okay, so we're going to come in here. We're going to say left edge. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what I need to do? It's not get player target X. It is called get left edge. I think is what it's called. Get nameplate left edge, and I think it's got the same parameters. Nameplate renderer, context, get player X, player ID, and player. Sweet. Okay, so I'm going to do this right here because I'm not really, even though I've got this line in the same in both, it doesn't matter because this is like a super fast call. So I'm not worried about that. And so now I want to say, hey, if player index is equal to 0, then I'm going to return left edge. All right, you with me?
Yes.
That's what you've been trying to get me to write. I know. I've just been trying to figure out this part is what I've been trying to do. Then now what I want to do is I want to say otherwise now though, I need to find the player ID of the person next to us, or alternatively come in here. Geez, and then I got to come in here and pass in the index. Is player ID used anywhere else? It is. No, it's get player index there. It's the same thing.
I was going to say, can't we use the player index of the person to the left? Because we always know what that is. It's just one less than what we are.
Oh,
Do we
yeah.
actually need the player ID?
Well, the reason we need player ID is because we're passing it in here. So I'm going to change the parameter here from player ID to player index. That's what I'm going to do. So I need to now take this out. Player index, I'm not sure what was going on when I was down here. Why did I not reuse the get player index from above? That's weird, is what that is. That's just plain weird. All right, so now I have player ID used in only one place here. And now I want to change player ID to player index. This is a high risk move here, potentially high risk, because I'm changing a number to a number. And I got to go to every call and change that ID
to the index.
To the index. So like, for example, this, like that. Okay? And I need to get rid of all of that off to the left there. Okay. All right? So there's that one. Done one. This one's going to be a player ID, just like that. Looks like it's got a lowercase, a little bit different. Okay. Okay. There's 2. Here comes 3. Get nameplate left edge. I want to change this to player index. All right, so we're going to come in here and get this. We're going to get this in a second. Well, let me do this. Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to touch it yet. We're going to come back. And are we back? Did we do a full circle? Oh, I love that. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, no, that's
just
really
in the
good.
nick of time.
Yeah, no, I know. Just when it was starting to get layers of complexity deep.
Let's push the chaos one level higher.
We're free. Okay, so now let's change this to player index. All right, that's player index being passed in. Do the same thing here. This now is going to be player index. All right, I'm feeling better about this refactoring.
Yeah.
Same thing here. This is going to be that now, I believe. Okay, IntelliSense confirms that's correct. When I say that, what I mean is I hit Control Space on it, and the caret moved to the end, indicating that.
You may be able to optimize here. You're iterating through, is it players? I can't quite see line 194, a little left. So there's a second parameter in the function that you can call, which I believe is the index. So you can go player, comma, index, at which point it's the index of the thing you're looking at within the array you're iterating through. So you don't have to get player index. You'll just know it.
Where are you talking about doing this?
So on line 194, the for each that you're doing at this point, right?
Yeah.
You're for eaching through a list of players, and you're doing as a traditional C# would a for each. But the nature of the lambda is that it is passed multiple parameters. One is the item itself. The next parameter, which is optionally there, you don't have it at the moment, is the index of that object within the collection you're iterating.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work.
You can add a comma index.
I think it's a great idea, but I don't think it'll work because I think players has more than just 5. I'm not sure. Well, you might be actually right down here, but in C# up above, players has like 20 players or something in it. It's just whether they're in or not.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm not. I think you're right. It will work here, but I'm not going to do it. just in
Okay.
case I change later and I actually support players that are for some reason skipped over. Okay.
Sure.
All right. I'm sorry about that, Rory. I know you were like,
It's absolutely fine.
all right. So now let's go back. Okay. Get nameplate edge is using index, player index. We need the index here. So throw that in there.
Great suggestion.
Yeah. Is that Coding Gorilla?
It
With
is
the great,
indeed.
yeah, great suggestion. I believe you, Coding Gorilla. Yeah. It's not good when I'm on the other side of a debate with Rory and Coding Gorilla. That's not good. All right, so there's the player index there. And you got to do it here. Uh-oh. Lost a piece on the clipboard. That's what I want. All right.
The chat room has come up possibly because of the great suggestion, so it's now blocking some of the code.
Oh, thanks. Perfect. I like it when that happens. We're slowly fixing those as well. Okay, what else? And then we've gone full circle. So now we've got an index coming in here. All right. This is like, I feel like I'm just barely hanging on to this, not destroying the code.
This is where you don't take a break for 3 hours and come back, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think this is definitely not where I and I think I'm still like I'm shook from oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. Rory and Cody Gorilla both want me to go back over there, and I'm like, no, focus, just focus on nameplate edge and
focus on the thing you're trying to fix right now. Optimization can come later. It's not even as if the thing you're doing costs particularly.
Yeah. I'm just reviewing one more time, going through each one of these, making sure I've got a get player index on there. And I think I have not changed the code. Is at this point where my belief is. Okay. So now I want to go back. Here we go. So left edge, get nameplate left edge is coming in with player index. Now what's super cool is now I can come in here and I can say, well, I guess I could do this too. I could do say if it's less than or equal to 0, like that. So I need, and then I can come down here and say right edge is equal to this of player index -1, like that, and then
plus the width of same player.
Oh, sorry. Get nameplate left edge of that, plus get the nameplate width.
Yes. I felt like you did have one of those.
Yeah, I think I did.
I've seen it.
I think it might be a 9 nameplate renderer. Get nameplate width. And we need a context. We need a player. Uh-oh.
So you want a player and a player index, apparently. That's a little strange.
Yep, and I think I'm like, I gotta go look at players. I'm like not. I think you're right, Rory. I think I'm going to end up doing what you and Coding Gorilla said that we're going to do. Players is simply an array. The thing I'm not sure about is the index that we're getting. Is it the index into the players array? And to figure that out, we're going to have to go way out. We're going to have to find our way into some call that passes in players and then look at the players. So let's go do that. Move all targets. And now we're outside into the Dragon front game. This.players is there, and when we do get player index, which I'm hoping if we tab enough, it is simply the index into that array. See it? That's this code right there. So you were right.
We for reaching over each of the ones, and when it's the right ID, we return I being the thing we're using to index into players on line 621. Yes.
All right. So,
okay.
So with that in mind, that means we can implement the great suggestion that we heard before, which is here. This is at least one of the places, right? So we were saying you can type in index here.
There you go.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
I've not used this before, and then that means we're going to
replace the whole method call to get player index.
Right there.
With that value, I think.
Oh, I'm so nervous. All right, let's do this. just in case it goes a little crazy, I'm going to do that right there.
That's
all right?
cool. Yeah.
All right. Let's see if there's another
Absolutely.
opportunity to do that. You know, this is why I'm here, to learn and figure out how to do this. Not there. I don't see an opportunity there.
Not seen much in the way of for eaches
Not there.
over this stuff.
And
Oh, there's one.
It's only, no, we did it already.
Move all conditions. 194.
Oh, you're right. Good job.
It's interestingly, I think that's where I actually saw it originally, and it just so happens there's 2 copies of very similar stuff.
Let's say index right there, and get nameplate left edge is there. All right, let's jump back. Okay, so now.
So I'm not sure any of this helps with our other issue, which is we're trying to figure out the width of the same, or of a specific person. Now we're required apparently to pass in both the player and the player index to that get width.
Yeah, this one's okay. This one is the second piece though. This requires a player and a player index. So we need to say the player here is going to be players of player index. That's what we believe is true.
I think it's -1.
Sorry.
And I think you're going to do the same in the third parameter.
Yeah. So hold on. Let's do this, and let's just decrement. Let's try that. So now we've got the new player index, or maybe should I do this? Maybe
I'm thinking this represents player to my left.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to do this. Player left index is equal to that.
Yeah.
Is equal to this -1. Better? Is that what you were hoping for?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
and then we know it's safe because we're not the 0 player, because we already took account of that and quit the method.
So now everywhere I see player index.
Yeah, we've got a right edge.
I think you're right. And we only using player index above, and player left index is only used below. So now I can come in and I should be able to say, wait, yeah, get the plate width. There might be a margin related issue, but
possibly, yeah.
I'm going to say we return left edge minus right edge. It's a little bit the opposite, but the left edge of the right edge of player left. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
it's a little
absolutely.
Weird.
Normally, we invert this specifically to get the difference, and it looks like we're not doing it until you realize that it's the right edge of one player and the left edge of a different player.
Yeah, let's do this. So left edge.
You can say my left edge or other right edge. I'm not sure. It's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah,
gap
to get
left,
the name right.
Gap right.
Yeah, right edge.
You could say that the gap
of next player. I could do this.
If you want. Yeah.
Left edge this plate.
It's the other way around though, because it's actually left. Oh no, sorry, you're right.
Or previous player, I guess is what
previous
you mean.
player. That's maybe what threw me. Yeah. It's right edge of previous player and it's left edge of this player as a not plate. I suppose plate is
it is
valid.
the plate.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
It's
the
a
name
plate.
Yeah.
Okay. And this deduces our correct value. This is our available space in which we can operate for this particular player. Now, interesting, of course, that it is a different width per player, potentially.
Yes. Yeah.
So you might end up with different scaling for different players at different times.
Yep. That's exactly what I actually anticipate having happen. So, but...
Is this where you have you overly engineer an extra wide nameplate for little cutie so that she gets to play with incredibly small tiles?
I'm not sure yet. We're going to put those little devious tricks in later. She's already accusing me of misogynistic die roll logic that's making her show up below, when there's a tie in the initiative order roll.
Well, there's a great reasoning about why that clearly isn't the case. It's because it would be way more effort. Yeah,
I know, but nobody gets that. Nobody gets that part of the and the thing is, it's really actually remarkable. Every time I've seen it, whenever there's a tie between a male character and a female character, it's just, and there's 2 female characters and 3 male characters. The female characters are secondary, in the list, and so I'm like, oh man, I'm actually gonna have to go in and write code to reverse, just do a secondary sort, right? When we sort by
That's
initiative.
like pure luck so far, but yeah, so you kind of need to randomize or reverse.
I think I've got
promotes
to
or-
reverse it. Is what I've got to do. I've got to be like, I've got like the women explicitly win in a tie, so that I can
Okay.
stop getting harassed. Is what I'm gonna. That's my goal.
If it works, it's good. Fair enough.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
somebody heard
I
me.
think you may have been overheard there.
I
Matt.
hear somebody
Where
coming.
can you hide?
Quick.
Where can you hide? Is there a
Get
big
something.
cushion somewhere?
Would you like some gum, honey? Would you like some gum?
I can't believe you're actually calculatedly making misogynistic roles here on this show.
I bought you a candle, honey. Here, would you like a candle?
I hold
It's just like
everyone-
Bald Bearded Builder's show.
Everyone on this show responsible now.
Okay. That's you too, Rory.
No, not you.
Well, it wasn't my fault. I said nothing. There's no evidence. You
Royce-
remember how there's no
Mother
evidence.
of pearl.
Mother of pearl. Rory said, I said nothing. He said, I said nothing. It wasn't my fault. I said nothing. That's everybody in the world is saying that right now, by the way.
Everyone's denying everything.
Honey, that's a very revealing dress you're wearing.
No, it's not.
What
Shut up. You're making up stuff.
Okay. All right. Anyway, we can't get too hot for my show. Let's stop that right now. And let's go in here let's refresh the screen and let's see if we can figure out how we can use that piece. We've got this move all conditions that we started with. We kind of based it on move all targets. This gets us a sprite. What's the sprite used for? Oh, checking to see if it's in the right spot or not. And also we want to check to see if it's in the right scale or not, is what we want to do. So, all right, so let's do this. But instead of passing in player target sprites, we're going to pass in condition conditions. Those are sprites, I think. Yep, there they are right there. Pyrocat! Ooh, little blast. Oh, look out! That guy's bad. Oh! He almost got me. He saved my life, Pyrocat. Whoa! Oh, hot in here. Watch out for velociraptors. Oh, there's one. Got it. You're the fast Pyrocat. Thanks so much. Bye, Pyrocat.
Welcome, Pyrocat. I personally have not seen you in a while. Welcome indeed.
Burn things kitty mode enabled. That's his line coming in.
Oh yeah.
Welcome, Pyrocat. Glad to have you here. I'm so glad I made that, by the way. That makes me happy every time I see it. The little kitten taking on the world.
Little kid makes good.
Yeah. No, I love it. I was going to say, I've not seen that one before, says Mr. Smoopy. Yeah, Mr. Smoopy's been here a while. Let me show you Mr. Smoopy's. I don't think you've seen his. It's kind of fun. Here comes Mr. Smoopy's again. That's Mr. Smoopy's right there. So
There
that
we go.
Mr. Smoopy meet Pyrocat. Pyrocat meet Mr. Smoopy.
Phrases you never thought you'd ever have to say.
That's right. Fred says hi too. He's here as well. He's doing good. We're writing some code, figuring our way out through this move all conditions. We're trying to get. I'll show you what we're trying to do here. We got these conditions
Awesome condition tiles, don't we?
that can pop up right there. I'm just hitting
To
buttons.
express exactly what is affecting somebody at any given moment.
Right. The problem is we need to change their position and or size based on the size of the nameplates. They need to go next to the nameplates. And so that's what we want to do. So we're working on that, the resizing code for these guys. That's what we're doing. But I think it's going to be cool when we get it done, and hopefully we won't break anything severely. Move all conditions. You know what I'm going to do? Am I calling this now? I'm calling it. I'm just going to comment all this out for now for a second. I just want to.
It's the ultimate commenting out there.
Yeah, I want to refresh this, and I want to just make sure we haven't broken anything.
That's a good call. Yeah.
All right. It looks like we haven't broken anything. All right, I just want to make
Things still
sure.
line up. Things still go in the same place.
All right, like that. All
Yeah.
right, cool. Okay, good. So back over here. So we're gonna get this, not the target sprite, but the condition sprite, like this. And we're going to get, I think we may need to make 2 calls. I think we need to make get nameplate edge, and oh, we know, what do we know? We know that this is now working, I think. I think we've tested this code.
Yeah, fair enough.
Move all targets, we haven't tested that. Let's actually test that code before we get out of here too much. So I've got targeting on all of these guys, and now let's switch into battle and see if they move. They move. Good. All right, and then we'll exit battle like that, and they move back. All of that's good.
Hey, Lassamat's joining us there in the chat room.
Hey, Lassamat, good, glad you're here with us. All right, so that code looks to be like it's working. Oh my God, this is so fun.
Do love
Seriously. Seriously, nobody can make an argument that I'm working too hard. I'm pushing myself too hard on this stuff. Let's see. Space. Maybe this is not the right thing. Width to left. And that's going to be, instead of get nameplate edge, it's going to be something else. What is it? Get width. Get scroll width from, no, get nameplate, left edge. What did we have? I thought we just built it. And then we thought we put it nearby it. I don't remember it.
Yeah. It's just completely left my head.
Get space left of plate.
Okay.
All right.
That obviously wasn't terribly instinctive for us.
Let's change that. So we're going to say get width. So space, a little bit better. Should I do React intro or Node.js intro as my next course? Cannot decide. That is not.
Don't you need one in order to do the other?
You think they're both dependent on each other?
Well, I think React is. Well, do you know what? I don't know a lot about either, but I had this understanding that you use Node to compile your React into JS. Have I understood that correctly? Because React has pieces that are non-JS, like is it the JSX files, the templates?
I do not know, Rory. I do not know, because this is
I
all
know
I know
a little
about
bit.
TypeScript right here is what
I
we've
know
written.
a little bit about many things, just enough to get myself into a lot of trouble in all those situations.
Okay, so let's see here. We've got the index coming in here. That gets our width. And now I want to go look at that scale. I'm going to drop a marker here and go look at, I think it was get scale. Get condition scale. Where's this called? One in restack conditions and update player conditions. In those 2 places right there. PowerCat's coming in with some information that appears to be valuable.
Yes, he's saying how the React compilation is done by an NPM provided tool, which is probably why I got too confused, because NPM is the Node Package Manager, and therefore there is some Node related stuff. But as he says, you don't need to know any Node.js to use it. So yeah, fair enough. I always like it when people who know more than me chime in, because, well, frankly, they know more than me, which is not a high bar, I grant you, but it's good.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with that as well. So I'm like, and so it's funny, like my son, he has a tendency to correct everyone, and everyone hates it but me. I keep telling him, you know, you correct me anytime. Because from my perspective,
Yes.
if somebody thinks I'm wrong, that's like the most valuable information in the world to me in that moment. Do you know what I mean? And for them to be quiet about it is not good. I
like that approach. I like the idea that I can be wrong. And once I find out I'm wrong, that's the very next step on the road to being right.
True.
Right? Because I will absorb the new information, and now I hold a new position, which is theoretically the right one. Everybody's better.
Yep.
It's good.
I agree with that. Let's see what's going on here. I'm throwing a bunch of players in here, and I'm getting the scale at the very beginning. And that's not good. I need to do it. And what's also interesting is I'm actually iterating through conditions. Who's here, man?
Michael Jolly is in the house.
Hey, Michael Jolly, how you doing, buddy? Unfortunately for Mark, he says, sex positive is never wrong.
How are you going to get into trouble for that?
How can you hear me
Honest-
from across the house? She's in front of the mirror doing her hair before she comes over. I think she's coming on. She's coming. It's big. You want to see it? Kid, you want to see some big hair? He says, unfortunately for Mark, sex positive is never wrong. Hey, be careful.
With this.
You got to be careful coming in here. How you doing?
I'm good, but my hair doesn't even fit on your screen.
Yeah. No. All right.
Wait,
Unfortunately for Mark, sex positive is never
you
wrong.
had said that I was wrong.
Nobody said you were wrong.
Then why did he need to clarify?
Everybody's nervous and nobody's saying anything. Everybody's doing
It
this
was,
on their
it
keyboard.
was a discussion about how being wrong is the first step to being right.
Yeah, Roy says there was a discussion about how being wrong was the first step in being right. And also,
This is clearly something that Karen never suffers from, but
Yeah.
the rest of us have to start wrong and learn what is correct.
yeah, also,
I like Rory scrambling.
Yeah,
It's
Rory's
my
good.
favorite.
yeah.
I've had a lot of practice.
I need,
I'm
like-
also married.
Rory scrambling on a loop for when you don't know how to scramble.
Wait, I don't think that happened,
I
Bald
knew
Bearded
you
Tilda.
did. I knew
I
you
did not
did.
say anything.
I knew that's
Why?
he had to
Why you
say
do
that.
this to me,
You know
Bald
what,
Bearded Builder?
Bald Builder, he's the only one who tells me the truth, Bald Bearded Builder. Michael
Yeah.
Is that how we're defining truth now? Things that get Mark in trouble. Okay.
That's what I call truth.
Yeah, it's not that we get nervous when she walks in the room. It's when you're in the chat room and she walks in the room.
Why
That's when
did
we
you
get
say
nervous.
That I'm always wrong. Why would
I
you
don't
say
remember
that?
saying that.
Look, Bald Bearded Builder has never lied to me.
Oh.
Maybe just now, first time.
You think?
Oh, Bald Bearded Builder. I wish I had him on audio. He's probably laughing like crazy right now. Okay. All right. Let's all go back to work
Wait,
now.
what do you mean? No, I'm
we're
just
gonna
on the
go back.
show.
No, we're gonna. Why is this not coming out of your head? I need this back.
What do you mean? Why is it not coming out of my head? You put it in my ear. You should take
So
it.
Pyrocut's got more information there, I think, with regards to the question about what to do. You're leaving? Here, take that out. All right, there we go. This is whichever takes your fancy. Fancy Node.js. Whichever takes your fancy. Node.js is more back-end. JS development. React is another front-end framework. Got
Yes.
it. Okay. Cool. All right, so we're looking at update player conditions.
We are.
So this is
You
called for an
considering
existing.
moving scale somewhere.
Yeah. The scale question, though, where are we getting that player index? Player ID is here. Where are we getting player ID? There it is right there. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to change scale, move it down. We are going to, we need to get the index of this guy. Once we have the player ID, so we can come in and say, I get player X, I think, get player index of player ID is that, so we'll do player index is equal to that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do get condition scale. We need this to take a, we need this to be smarter is what we need. We need to call,
Yes.
we need to call, what is it? This dot get space, get width, left of plate.
There you go. That's it. And for that, we will now need to know the player and not just the condition, because this is player-dependent condition scaling.
Yeah, so I'm going to see what we need to pass in here to this. We need the context. So let's add context to it. And what else do we need? Let's keep going. See what else we need. I get player X, yeah, and the text floater. So we need that. And I bet
feel
we
like
need.
we pass a lot of the same things around as a collection.
Oh no, you know where he's going, kids. He's going to say, create an object, Mark. That's what he's going to do.
There was, and possibly still is for C#, a fantastic refactoring built into CodeRush that will let you do exactly that.
Yeah.
Select multiple parameters, and it creates an object and replaces their use in both the call and the method signature. Fantastic facility.
That works in C#, but does not work here, unfortunately, and we don't have that here. So the way we do that in the C# world is we select the whole thing and hit the although we do have convert parameters into destructured object. What is that? I don't think I like it. No, it looks like it's not making it easier. Yeah, this is my threshold for the complexity in terms of what I'm passing in. Maybe someday I'll change it.
It's the kind of thing we could tidy up later, but should probably not be done in the middle of something else that we're already doing.
Yep.
If it's a one-step refactoring, that works. So I encourage any of you who use C# or indeed VBNet to go look at that particular refactoring in your code. It's an opportunity to take multiple parameters and combine them into an object, and that means you can now pass that object around a lot simpler and a lot easier. And it also means that when you want to add something to that object, you don't have to go around and revisit all of these places to add that extra value.
He's right. He's right. He's right. Okay, so now I've got get width, get condition scale. So it's called get width left of plate. Let's throw that inside of a constant called width to the left. And what I really like about this, though, is I think I can do something like this. I can say let's take, say, my scale. I should maybe even do this. Return dot. What's my? I'm looking for static in here called. I don't remember what it is, but I remember the value of it. It's 102. Not that 102. Not that one. Condition length. That's what I'm looking for. So this is the length of that condition icon right there. In fact, let's rename this to say condition icon length. It's a square, so it's that on both sides. So I want to say it's that. I want to say it's kind of, it's going to take me a second to get to the math here, but basically I'm going to say width to the left times 2 divided by 3. I want 2/3. I want to take 1/3 of it as white space. Okay, that's my space. And then my scale, if I want this to reach, is that. But I also want to max this out at 1. So it's like this, math.max 1, comma, that. I think that's the math.
So no jumbo tiles just because you've got the space.
Right. So what's cool about that is the scale will shrink to just what's needed, which is potentially super cool in terms of what the look is going to look like. All right, so get condition scale is there, and we need to pass in context. I get player X, player index. I don't have player index, so I need to get player index, okay? And then players, right? Yeah, no, I know. I'm sending a lot of stuff in here. All right, so now I've got a player ID, though, I bet. Oh, look here, I've got a player index I'm using up in this line. So I'm just going to come in here and say player index, and that's equal to this.
Yep.
And then pop that in there. Okay. So there's my scale now. And I think I have another scale that needs more parameters in it. There's one. Here's the other one. And there's the player index. Okay. That's feeling so interesting. I kind of almost want to try that and see what we get. See where we are. Let's try it. Okay, refreshed.
Wow.
Awesome.
That is just so cool.
Notice it's got the 2/3. I think I said max instead of min. That's what I did.
Oh,
I,
right. So
I
this
always
is this
do
is the
this.
full size tile. And what we've been seeing up until now is roughly 80%, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For the max one, which is why they seem kind of chunky and you know. But that's cool. I mean, it's working. It's doing what we said.
All right, so there's full size right there. Yeah, it feels like it actually is working. Okay, cool. So let's go into combat. We still have the problem when we go into combat, but when we put new ones in, let's stick them in, we'll put it in miles. We'll add some conditions for miles. Uh-oh. Nothing's coming up for miles. Let's try and figure that out.
Disappointing.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's see what's going on with, let's go back to Lady because we've got some actual ones up here. Why didn't I'm expecting hers to go down. The scale doesn't make sense. I thought the first time when we were totally nailed what would look like the 2/3. Let's see here.
Did you change the math max to min?
Yeah, I did. It's right there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did do that, which is smaller. And so I've got this time's 2/3, so that divided by the length. Yeah, the math looks correct to me right there for get condition scale. Also look at how stunned, unconscious is on top of stunned perfectly, but stunned is not on top of prone correctly. It doesn't make sense to me at all. That whole thing doesn't seem to work well.
I can't actually see the math because there's some stuff in the way.
Oh, sorry.
But I'm wondering about the. That was different.
And look at this. It's not quite right with regards to the height. Like all this should be good. Yeah, look at unconscious is smaller than the others. Let me drop them all down. Let's see. There's unconscious. And put a new one in.
I'm not convinced by the maths. You've got a width to the left, 2/3 of the width to the
Yeah.
left.
So
Out of the 102, which feels like surely that should be
about
it's either
60 is my available size.
surely it should be either. Oh.
So 60 divided by 100 is about 6/10, which means that scale should be different. The scale is wrong, and I'm trying to figure that out. Why is it? Where is this? Restack conditions. Let me hit the restack button. Well, the restack isn't going to change the scale of them. So we kind of need to start doing some of these things to really see what's wrong. But I also wanted to see, maybe I'm setting scale equal to something somewhere else. Let's see if there's any chance that's happening. I'm just searching for scale equals. Condition scale. Launch the dragons. I don't care about that. Prepare for entrance. That's for the dragons. Update player conditions. There's the other one. Here's what's coming in here. This is scale 1. Add condition. Scale is already set up there. Should be correct. Prepare condition for entrance. And then we're back around to the top again. I don't get it at all. I'll tell you, I got a couple ideas, but one of my ideas that I'm thinking about is that we write the other code and see what's going on. We write the code that changes the scale in response to the refreshing, updating, moving part. That's kind of what I feel like we do.
Yeah.
But the other thing we can look at one more time, we can look at the get stale one more time. Look at this. This should all work. This should totally be correct, right? I feel like this shouldn't make a difference and that shouldn't make a difference. All of that
should be fine.
Right? And there's no operator order issues right here. Get width of plate could be maybe wrong. That's my problem. I bet you that's my problem right there.
The unconscious that's on screen right now, that feels bigger than the 80% that you were previously looking at.
Yeah, it should have been like 66%. Should take it up. There should be 1/3 of the space should be,
right
there.
So that tells me that the 2/3 is being applied to something. Well, either the something that's being applied to is wrong, or the 2/3 is failing to be applied correctly.
Yeah, that's why I think get width left of plate is wrong. I think that's what's going on here, because the code above is, I think, working well.
Does the width of plate include,
this
hypothetically, both of the edges that are bolted onto the nameplates? So it's the whole of the width.
I don't know. I think we need to visualize it is what we need to do.
Okay.
And I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go into the draw. Do I have all of this data in my draw function? I don't think I do. But I want to go into the draw and I want to just draw a line. Yeah, I don't have all the data I want here in my draw. I guess I can start passing it in. Let's do this.
What do we think the gap actually is between those nameplates?
This one over here?
Any two, but yeah, what do you think the gap starts out as being?
Well, right there, that gap, if that's at 100%, then that gap looks to be like about 117 pixels between those two. That's what I believe it is. We can measure that too if you want. I'm going to do this. I'm going to create this call to draw diagnostics. I'm going to go into draw, and I'm going to just start with this signature, and we'll start going beyond it. I think and I want to just draw a line. I'm going to draw a line between the plates and show that all the time. And if that works, then we'll be able to verify if it's working or not, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we need to get an iNameplate renderer in here. And we need to get an iGetPlayerX, which is a type getPlayerX, I think. And there might be another type that it's ANDed or ORed with. Let's see, what is this one looking for? And iText floater. Okay, and then we have players, which is an array of characters. Right, character array. Okay, cool. Then we have player index. And then we want to do like a for loop right here. And we're going to say width to left is equal to that of I. That's my index, player index. And then I want to come down here and I want to say context, move to, we got to do it. We need to get the get width left of plate. We also needed a get, I think it's get plate left or something. No, what is it? Get
width
left
left of plate. Is that the one you're looking for?
nameplate left edge.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for. Get nameplate left edge. That's going to be our X position, like that. So then we're going to move to X minus width to left, comma Y, and then we're going to say line to, and move to X comma Y. And I need a line color. Sort of like a begin path. There it is right there. That's what I want. Let's do this at the beginning. And come down at the end. And it's, I think stroke is how we end it. Is it an end path? No, it's just stroke. Like that. And I want to give it a color. What is it? Line color? No. Line style? What is it? Stroke style?
Stroke style sounds good.
There it is. Okay, stroke style is going to be red. Like that. We're going to stroke. My Y I don't have yet. Let's declare my Y. And we're going to set that equal to 1000. So it's going to be pretty low. And I think that's it. So draw diagnostics is there now. I don't actually need a time to pass in. So let's go back out here to the call. We're just going to pass in there. So now we've got our diagnostics coming in. What's wrong here? I delete more than what I should. So that, we need two thises in here. Right there to make that work. Okay. All right. And I know I could combine those parameters into one. I know you're probably thinking that, Rory, but I'm going to just do this for now.
Let's get something up and running, really. So it's kind of the first part, isn't it?
Interesting. It is absolutely wrong. Fred's looks right. Lady starts in the right place, but doesn't. She's going over to the it's like, what is going on? Let's do a couple things here. Let's go into draw diagnostics. Let's do a couple things on this to make it. I want to make it very clear because Fred's could be wrong. I want to make sure it starts at 0. So I'm going to do a couple things on here. I'm going to say context dot just to make it easier to see.
Yeah.
Stroke thickness, I think. No, line thickness.
And line width, perhaps?
Line width. There it is equal to 3. We're going to do that. I'm also going to create one more line on the left edge. I'm going to say move to. Both of these are going to be the same, and then this is going to be y minus 5, and this is going to be y plus 5. So this is going to be a vertical line right here.
Okay.
All right. So let's refresh that. So we don't see Fred's.
No, we do not.
Oh, whoa! Look at Ladies though. Ladies is actually looks like it's lined up with the edge of Miles. See that? That's kind of interesting.
Sure.
Hold on.
But the lines are supposed to only represent the gaps, though. So why is Miles coming over the top of his nameplate as well? Unless that's not his and it's Ladies. Just extends that far, but that seems a bit weird.
Yeah, we're going to find out because we're going to use the, what is it? Die
Player colors for the
back color. I'm going to use the die back color for it. That's what I'm going
Yeah,
to do.
that's good.
Oops. I need to do this. Since we're changing color, we need to put this in here. We need to do these one path at a time. Since we're changing the color of the lines, we need to do that. Okay, so let's refresh that. Okay, ladies looks good. Miles is wrong. Mine is kind of too long. It's going into ladies right there. Little cuties is too short.
Yeah.
Let's see if these update when we go into battle and leave battle. Let's leave. Miles is totally reversed. Is that right? The width to left on Miles is negative.
I'm trying to work out based on the code. Should it be drawing from left to right or from right to left?
Well, it doesn't really matter which way it does. But the question is, where is that little vertical part of it? That vertical part of it is going to be an x minus width to the left. So it's going to be x is this position, and width to the left is minus. So,
yeah, so it should be the leftmost part of the line
so at least
that has the vertical component.
Yeah, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. We're going to make that, I'll throw 9 on both of those right there, just so that it's a little bit easier to see. I'm going to change our stroke width to, I think, a 4. I know, we're pushing the edges of decency on this show. Maybe not. All right. But now it's bigger. Now you can see what's going on here, and we can see that clearly there's a problem. Ladies, interestingly enough, ladies is close to right. But it's, I think whatever the problem is, it's the same problem across the board. Fred's is still nowhere to be seen.
Fred should be the single most accurate because he doesn't have a player on the left. He is index 0. And as a result, he's got a hard-coded 0 for the left edge of the person to his left.
Yeah.
Or right edge of the person to his left.
I was going to add a little bit to the left edge on this, where this thing occurs, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to do it. I was going to do just a little bit to see if we could see it. We just off by a little bit for Fred. Like I was going to say line width divided by 2. But I'm pretty sure if we say move 2, the line's going to be centered on that line. So we should see a little bit of the edge of it. And we don't. So Fred is off. One other thing we can do that I think is going to be useful before we leave here is we should say context dot, what is it, text align. Let's say text align is equal to, is it right? I'm going to right align the text, and I'm going to draw it right at that X point is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to put the text out, the width, the number, width to the left. So, so what is it, text out, fill text, and the text is going to be width to the left, dot to string. And we're going to call it X and Y on that. Is that enough? We might want to put the color of it in as well. The text, what is it? Font color? Is it font? Font dot. No, what is it? I'm trying to remember how to set the color of text. I just can't remember how to do it. Is it? Oh no, you know what it is? It's fill.
Oh, fill color.
It's fill color, I think, right? Fill style. That's what it is. And we're going to just set fill style equal to the player die back color. So we'll be able to identify that as well. All right, let's take a look at that. Okay. We want to do a baseline on this as well. What is it? Text baseline? There it is. It's equal to, what is it? Bottom? I think we want to do that. And I think I want to do a math dot round of that. to string, and hopefully that'll drop the digits down. Why did Fred's have the little nub? Yeah, no, I'm with you. We're figuring that out.
I don't know why any of those figures should have decimal places in.
Yeah, look at confirmed. Miles is a negative number. So we definitely we have a strong sense that there's a problem all over the place. You were saying you don't know why they have width to left is
Yeah, we should be having two integers, one subtracted from the other, a left edge and a width.
Let's go figure out what get width the plate is doing and why is it the way it is. 252. These numbers, these distances look correct. In other words, when I see 242, that looks correct. That's all correct. 140. So we got to figure out what is going on here.
You got two sets of 252. Fred's is saying 252, but so is Merkin's.
That's also interesting, isn't it? Yeah, Miles is super interesting to me because I'm like, what? Right edge of previous player. All right, so let's break this down because we got a couple things on a couple lines here, and see what we can do on this. Get plate width. So we'll do. Plate width on the left. By the way, I really don't like problems like this because it's like, oh, they're so hard to debug. You gotta create, spend time writing visualization tools. You've got to, send, and it's always hard to translate, coordinates into where it should be. So it's like, I'm hoping that we can find it by just looking at it, is what I'm hoping. Let's do something like this. So I'm just going to start simplifying things. We're going to call this plate width left. I think I want to call this left plate width. And then I want to come down here and call this left plate left. And I'm going to actually immediately now rename this to previous. And we'll, that's equal to this. All right, so now is I think I may have transposed this. I think that, wait. Right edge of previous plate. No, it is previous plate left plus previous plate width. And then we have left edge of this table minus right edge of previous player.
Right. So actually, if we're going to keep your naming convention, it's previous plate right is the new name for this variable. Is that correct?
I think so. Sure, why not?
Okay. So the left edge of this nameplate, take away the right edge of the previous plate, should indeed give us the gap width, which is what we're after.
So the code kind of looks good, I think. The left edge of this nameplate, why is the left edge of this nameplate for Fred 252? That's blowing my mind, right? This code, which is used in multiple places, not here yet, but well, actually everywhere it's used. You can see it visually. It's used here even in draw diagnostics. That left edge is correct.
It's putting Fred's plate where it is.
Yes, and also the line is right there lined up with the left edge in every single one, even Miles, which has a negative. The problem isn't there. The problem has to be in get plate width is what it has to be. And our call to get plate width.
Are we passing something invalid to it?
Get width left of plate. Well, what we're passing in is the same. Get width, yeah, I think I want to change this to get available space. Left of plate. So look at these parameters. Get player.
That seems like a good call. As in, there's nothing.
Oh, look at this though. This is asking for player ID.
Oh,
That could be our problem right there.
that could do it. Yeah.
Is it just poorly named? Did we mess it up?
Yeah. This is
No.
where we started. We were going to make this player index. We never came back here and did it.
Well, good.
We don't need that first line because this is player index coming in.
And do we have player ID used anywhere? We do not. Sweet. That could be a fix.
There we go. That would cause all sorts of problems.
Yeah, it would. Get player X. This is the player index there. That's the player
Ready
index.
to refresh and see it all magically just work.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's try it. Here comes the refresh. Can't be fast enough.
Well, that is a
Better.
lot better.
Yeah,
That is
look,
a lot better.
everybody's in the right place, including Fred. You can see at the end there.
Miles is a little off. He's got his span's just a little far left. In fact, I think ladies is a little far left.
All of
Merkin's
ours
a little
are.
far left. Yeah.
All of ours
Fred's
are.
fine.
Okay, so that is a spacing issue, I think. That has to do with the sides of.
I think
the
it is
plate.
the sides, isn't it?
Yeah, let's go fix that.
Is this the fact that when we get the width of a plate, that it's only the middle piece? It does not include the sides?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's correct. It's something related to that. Let me see if I can search for the word side in here. Oh, that's not working very well. It's a constant. I've got a constant in here. Again, I remember the number, but not the name. Isn't that weird?
That's great.
Plate margin. I think that's what I'm looking for. My guess is that's off. Is that off by?
So you want
It's off by the
two
seam.
plate margins per player that is to the left of you added to the, well, not to the width, but to the left, I guess.
Yeah, hold on one second. I want to actually measure this. Give me a second. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. And I'm going to go to the image editor and paste that in here. I want to see how far it's off by. From about the center there to about the center where it would be there is what we're looking at. It's 31 pixels, which is like 4 times plate margin.
Yeah, but that's 2 plate margins for Fred and another 2 for Miles. Is this an
It's not
incrementing
additive.
problem?
No, it's not. It is not. I can make a constant and run with it and call it a hack and say, come back and fix it. That's the fastest way out of here for everybody's, I think I'm headed in that direction. I'm going to call this plate width adjust. I'm going to set it equal to 31.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking.
I'm thinking it's a good thing to check. If that works, then at least we have, confirmation of that fact.
Yeah,
It may not be the best long-term solution, but it's good for gathering more information at the very worst.
Yeah, so here we're going to say this minus the player stat manager dot plate width adjust. And then I might say, let's go in here, mark this with a hack, magic number to solve width calculation. Issues someday before I die. Fix before my reputation is tarnished more severely than it already is. No, I guess we're good.
Hashtag avoid comeuppance.
Yeah, hashtag someday fix. Hashtag no comeuppance. All right, there we go. There it is right there. So
Okay.
there's my hack on the play with it. One of the things I've learned is tie the comment to the code by putting that piece in there like that. If I don't do that, these could separate in some way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's my hack. let's refresh it, and this I declare will just magically work because it's a magic number. There it is.
That does look good.
Everybody's now working. Okay, good. Now, does that mean if we go into combat? Wait, are we in? We're in combat now. We're maybe out. I'm not quite sure. Some layers are in and out. Okay, look, it fixed. See, everybody updated. Available
All the
space.
widths are fixed. All that diagnostic information is accurate still.
Good. Okay, good. Now, that's what we want. That's what we want. That makes me happy. Let's go find that diagnostic, draw diagnostics call. Let's come out here. Let's comment it out. So we're good there. Somewhere over here, we've got to move all conditions. Okay, so get available space. Here we are. Now I want to say, get the scale. So I want to say scale is equal to this dot, what is it? Get scale, get condition scale.
Yep.
And we're going to take in the iNameplate renderer. The context, the I get player X, player index. The player index is index. That's that beautiful thing that you guys have taught me today. And the players.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my scale. Now, I want to say, hey, if condition, okay, if the X position is not correct, then I want to say ease it, starting now, from here. Hold on, get sprite for player. I think we have a problem. We have a problem here. Get sprite for player. There can actually be multiple sprites for a player that match that player. So I'm going to create a new one called get sprites for player. That's going to return an array of sprite proxies. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to say sprites. How are we doing on that? Oh, result sprites maybe? That. What's my problem here? Do I have to do this as like an array? Like that? Maybe that's what I have to do. All right, okay.
Like some of this is you've just not used it yet as well.
So here I want to say result sprites dot push sprite like that, and then I want to return result sprites like that. And now what's my problem? What are you going on about? Duplicate function. Oh shoot!
It's not changed the name. Ah, right.
Oh, I did. Maybe I've already got to get sprites for player. Did I already figure this out? It looks like I totally already did. Sorry about this, guys. Let's go see what that looks like. That's one. Can I tap the next reference to the other one? There's the other one.
That looks more complicated. That's a very specific set of sprites.
Oh yeah, this is the better version of it. That's the better one. This is specifically for conditioning, is what that one was for. I'm going to take the other one because that's where I'm using it. I need that here. So what we need to do is grab all the condition sprites like this, and then we're going to come back and we're going to say we want instead to work with condition sprites. Then we want to, oh, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a for I. I'm not going to do 2 embedded for eaches because that's going to make me a little crazy on this. And then now we're going to take this and put it inside here. And we're going to say condition sprite. That's equal to condition sprites of I. Like that. Now what do we got? Okay, because we can have a whole stack of sprites that are associated with the player. And so now what I want to do is check each one, and I want to see, are you in the right place? Are you the right scale?
Yeah.
Hold on, what's here? Player ID. So this, uh-oh. We need to now get a player ID when we don't have one. Oh, you know what? We can get it. It's going to be players of index. That player ID. That's what it's going to be. There. Okay, good. So next we want to say, hey, if it's not X, then we're going to move it. If the scale is not the right scale. Oh, come on.
Whilst we're having this, Coding Gorilla points out, actually we don't need to go into the array up above where we just added. We can just go player, the individual, dot player ID. Because we already have the player. We are iterating through them. There's line 195 on the far right.
Where do we have player? Oh, right there.
We're looping.
Beautiful.
Well done, Coding Gorilla.
Thanks, Coding Gorilla. Look out, here comes Jetson. Just I need a little space to work with the code. A little bit.
Is in the house.
Hey, Jetson.
Welcome, Pudding. Welcome, Jetsam. Come join the fun.
Jetson says, here, I'll help clean up all that pudding. Nice.
Need to attach a pudding scoop to the bottom of his jet.
Okay, so now if the scale is not the same, what do I have here? Do I have... Now here's the thing, we're not working with the glow yet. The glow we got to work with too, because glow's not gonna it's not gonna match up. So we got to go find that glow.
Mm-hmm.
Also suggest a combined fanfare. Oh, that's kind of fun. People can do combos.
Combos. Scale the video down to 10% and have them individually do battle on screen.
Hold on. I thought I had something called target scale. Look at this. I've got auto scale factor per second. Scale start time. I thought I had a target scale for this.
Got an initial horizontal scale, so you would assume that there's a corresponding value.
Let's go tab the next reference through this thing, see what's going on. Scale start time, horizontal. That's if we don't have a time and we're done. Otherwise, it's the initial. Okay, hold on. So I think what we do is actually let me see when these are set. They're just set to here and here. All right. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to try and animate the scale. So I'm going to say this is equal to the current scale. Like that. Then I want the vertical scale is also equal to it. All right, with me so far? Then, when we looked at that code, it was going to... Where's the scale factor coming from? Oh, here we go. Auto scale factor per second. Oh, but it doesn't stop. It's not, it doesn't scale to a location, it just scales for a certain amount of time. So I can't really do this where I want to do this here. All right, so I'm just going to come in and I'll set it equal is what I'll do. So we'll change the scale like that. So it'll just pop like that into that place. And then it should slide. I don't know. We got a call to this, right? Yep. Whenever the nameplates are refreshed, we're going to call this. We're not moving. Let's just do it, and we'll see that we're not moving the glows. And then we'll fix the glows. Make sure this works first.
Good plan.
It's a plan. I feel like with my waiter when I order something disgusting at the restaurant, he's like, "Excellent choice, sir." I'm like, no. All right, so let's exit battle and re-enter battle. Okay, there we go. We got some movement
Well,
coming,
that's slid.
but it's
Yeah.
totally wrong, it seems. And they're not dropping down either. We got to
Yeah.
figure the Y position as well. I think the problem is here in this X move. It's got to be not. I may have examples of it here elsewhere inside of this. There. See what I need to do? I need to offset that target X by the this dot conditions, like that, origin X. I think that's going to solve a little bit of that. Let's refresh again. Okay, let's exit and re-enter. So there's the exit, here's the enter. Okay, better.
That's better. Yep.
Yeah, I agree on both of those. Let's exit. Better.
Nice.
Okay. Next, let's move the glow with them, and we got to also figure out where the Y is going to go. Because if we're scaling, that character just got everything. Yeah, I think you're talking about Miles. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
I do love that. I'm now thinking Harry Potter Dementors for some reason.
Yeah. It's cool. It's got that kind of feeling to it. I love it. And it's the sound that does it, by the way. It's like whenever I do things like this without, and you look at it without sound, you know, it's like not. It's just not. It's like just not there. Once you put sound, all of a sudden it's like, whoa! It feels so real.
It's kind of like all the polish suddenly is added. You know, the game has been upped, so to speak.
Yeah, the game has been upped. Overkill Productions. All right, so
Raising bar.
we need to figure out how we're going to do this. What if, I just want to know, let's try something now. Let's just go in, and now what if I hit on the Stream Deck the button to restack? This button I added here. What happens? I'm going to hit that and see what happens.
It's interesting.
I could call restack.
Yeah.
And then all I have to do is fix the other one, and then everything is sweet and just works. I'm kind of feeling like that's my solution, because it's like a one line of code. We're going into battle, everything else is happening. It's not that big of a deal. Let's figure out the glow. Get the glow to resize as well. And let's extract this as a method right here. And we're going to call this move condition sprite, like that. It sounds like I got two music sources playing at once, maybe. Let's stop one of them. And so there's my move condition sprite call right there. Move, maybe move. I just hit F2 to rename, and look, nothing happened. There it is right there. Move and scale, condition sprite. And then I need this dot, do I have a get condition sprite? I need a get sprite. Oh, what is it? Hold on, let's go look through. I think it's get sprite for player is what it is. Get sprite for player, and it takes, nope. I'm looking for something more than just the player ID. Let's do this. Drop a marker here, look for condition state. Actually, that's what I want to look for. I'm looking for something that gets sprites above, so that's close to what I'm looking for. I'm looking for code that kind of does this right here. It takes the data.
Get sprites for player right there on 1397. Is that what you wanted? I thought what you said.
Yeah, you know what I think I need? I need one that doesn't exist yet.
Okay.
I need a get condition sprite for player. And I'm going to pass in a condition state. Is what I think I'm going to do. This is going to be the...
Still going to want a player though, right? Get
No,
condition
I'm
sprite
not.
for player.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm going to do this, dot player ID, and I'm going to take both of these, duplicate that, and change this part to, frame index. Is that what I'm calling it? Is there anything else in there? Yeah, frame index is what I'm calling it. So this frame index piece corresponds to what, which of the conditions we're using. And the reason that's important to hold that is because the glow actually is animated and has an actual frame index that's moving. So the frame index that's stored in the glow inside this condition state piece is actually the one that corresponds to the condition. That's what this is going to do. And here, this is going to just return a single sprite, like that. And all I want to do here is just simply say return sprites, test sprite. Like that. And over here, we're going to say return null. That's what I think I need. Get condition sprite for player. We're going to say this dot, whoops. We're going to pass in this dot condition glow. And we're going to pass in condition sprite dot data as condition state. And that is going to give us our glow sprite. And then we can go move and scale that. I think that's going to work. Like that. All right, let's see if that works. Got dogs barking outside. They think they're more impressive than they are. Okay, so let's go. All right, so that's working. Let's go. I want to go to Miles actually and remove some of these. That's all working. Now I want to go enter battle and exit battle. Exit rather. Huh?
That was different.
Oh, I know
Your
why.
conditions
I know
having
why.
an out-of-body experience.
No, I know why. Hold on.
Conditions that astrally project.
This goes here, and this one is going to be the condition glow set of sprites right there. I think that's going to fix that. Let's see if that works. And let's turn off Coder's music for a second because we got the D&D music playing. All right, let's exit battle and re-enter. Okay, so the glow's moving.
The glows are following properly, yeah.
Let's exit. Glows are following. All right, so move all conditions, and then I think what I want here is I'm wondering about, I want to do something that if the scale changes, I got to restack. So I only think I want to restack if the scale changes.
Mm-hmm.
Do I really want to do that or not? Do I want to try and be a little smarter, simpler on this? Let's just hold a marker right here for a second. Let's go look at restack. And I think I want to be smarter is what I want to do. Because I don't want to actually change the order. I think I want to make less disruption occur. Because I'm thinking this can happen when you just take hit points changes. And I don't want to have that going on over there. So let's just see what's happening here. Oh, I'm just calling animate sprites down. And I'm passing in all of the sprites in there. That's if the scale changes. And then
you mentioned earlier that they were going to alphabetical order.
Yeah,
so what's causing that resort?
That I think is happening. Oh, I was going to say I thought it was happening here, but it's not. Hold on, I'll show you where that is. Condition sprites, get sprites for player. There is the sort that occurs right there. Okay. We could also not sort them.
I think if you don't sort them, you'll probably find there's less disruption anyway. For this particular scenario. You could also add a parameter that allows you to override and prevent the sort in this particular case.
Yeah, I could do that too. I think what happens is, let's try your suggestion and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to do this. I think what's going to happen is that we're going to see still a flipping in that these are added in the wrong order. And then if we change this, I think we'll be okay. So that's what I think I want to do here. So, but let's see what happens. Let's refresh. That was bizarre and weird.
That was different.
What do I need to do here? Oh, I need to get it to a state where it's not quite, there we go. Okay, so there. Now I'm going to hit refresh stack. Huh.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Let's just double check with a different order of pieces and then refresh the stack. I think it's okay. Yeah, Frighten was behind Charm. I think that's okay. All right, so if that's the case, then.
So when you change size, when you enter combat, and then do the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think I've added the call yet.
Fall in place. Well, no, it's not automatic, but you can hit the button now.
Right, I get what you're saying. Let's see if we can add this in here. We only need to restack if the scale has changed for anything in this stack. And to be fair, well, we could call it for everybody. We could just do it. We could just flat out do it, and it looks like that call just pasted in and it's compiling. Oh no, wait, it's not quite. Shoot, I need a sound manager and existing player stats. What am I doing with that? I've got this call at the beginning here. Hold on. Scale. Let's just figure out what's going on with the target. The target Y is animate sprites down. Maybe if I did this, and then the similar one for the second piece. So yeah, maybe this is. Maybe this is the extracted method right here. So it takes a scale, it's got an X position, a sound manager. Still though, what's this existing player stats? You're killing me with this. What are we using this for? Player ID?
To get player ID.
Okay.
We can find a better way to do that.
Yeah, we're going to say player ID. Like that. And we will pass in. That there. And fix this as well. Okay. So now we've got animate condition sprites down for a particular player ID.
Mm-hmm.
We get the condition sprites to target Y. Target Y could go up here. So we have these two pieces here. Notice I just want to point out we passed the sound manager in for the first one, but not the second one. So we're only playing the clicks when the first condition sprites are hitting each other, but we're ignoring that situation when the glow sprites are going to hit each other. That's what's happening there. Okay. So that's why we got the sound manager there. So now we want to take this and I need to know if we've had anything move. And if so, I want to call this. So I want to do, let's first, or scale, sorry. So let's say, All right, so we're going to say if condition sprite.scale is not equal to scale, then we're going to call this.animate sprites down. We're not calling restack conditions, so this should be a much less disruptive kind of change. We need player ID, so that's going to be player.player ID. Our target X. What's the target X? Animate sprites down, going into here. What's the target X? That's my new X. It's using my origin, which I'm also passing in. Okay, so my target X for the call needs to be just X right up here. No origin offset on it. It's going to do that automatically for me. The scale is the new scale. And we need a sound manager in there, which I don't think I have yet, so I need to pass that in. Okay, let's add that. I'm going to throw that right about here. Okay, I think that's good. Move all conditions. We need a sound manager we pass down to it. This dot, what is it, dragon sounds or something like that? Dragon front sounds. I think that's my sound manager.
But not in that position because you
Oh,
inserted
right.
it halfway through.
Thank you. That's how quickly I forgot that. Okay. Good job, Rory. Okay, there's my move all conditions. Is that going to work?
Yeah.
Rory's like, yeah, I'm good. Okay, let's enter combat. Why
Okay.
didn't that work? Oh, I know what the problem is. We're checking scale after we've changed it, I think.
All
What
right.
we're doing. So we're going to say need to move sprites. Need to restack sprites. And I'm going to say that's equal to this. Okay, so there's that. I think that's the problem. And I want to change this to stack condition sprites. Because it could go up or down. It doesn't really matter. Let's see if that fixes
True.
it. Okay. Let's exit battle. Let's come back in. There you go.
Very nice.
If only we could animate that scale. That would be like super cool.
Yeah.
What's happening here? Something weird is happening on the machine. I'm hitting enter combat, but we appear to be in combat, but the clock is... I think I was doing these so fast back and forth that... There we go. Just had to wait time. Yeah, I like that. Look at our sizing, right? Look at
nice.
how they're different sizes, but they're
That's right.
fitting. Yeah, that is feeling good to me. Let's go into Lady and let's get rid of some of these here. Yeah, it's all now working way better. Go into Miles, do the same thing. I can hit my restack button.
Nice.
I'm gonna call that done. I think
It's smooth, isn't it?
I think that feature
Just in
is
all
done.
the ways.
Yeah, and it's really fun to play with and to hit these buttons.
Yeah,
right?
well, I think it was mentioned earlier in the chat room that the audio, the pop sound is really satisfying, and the click sound is really satisfying. It meshes really well for a sort of an
Yeah.
overall complete experience.
Yeah, if only there was a great time that we could find for you to leave the show on, Rory. You know, that's the problem is I can never really figure out when's the right time for you to leave. You just always have to leave at the same, time. It doesn't seem to correspond with anything that we do. Like we never have a moment. Like
It really
if you had to go
correspond.
right now, this would be the best time. But unfortunately, you probably have
Funny.
to stay for a few hours, right?
Funny you should mention that.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying coming in here and like hitting the buttons like this. It's great. Roy's got to go.
I do.
Thanks so much, man. You were
I'll
really
be
helpful.
back tomorrow, same time, however.
All right, we'll do something fun tomorrow. I'm not sure what it'll be.
Okay, bud. See you then.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
We did it, kids. That was pretty cool. That is exactly what I was envisioning. And I remember thinking too, I was like, do I really want to do this? People are going to be like, you're going crazy spending all this time making this work. But this is exactly what I envisioned, exactly what I wanted it to do. And it feels really good. The other thing that's cool about this is that I can add more conditions. There were like about another handful of 7 or so that I was looking at that
It compiles.
let's
ship it!
Yeah, there are a bunch of other conditions that I can add that would be potentially useful. Also, I think the next step we're going to get into are spells that change conditions automatically and then have those come up here, have them, popping in and popping out when the spell expires, that sort of thing. So it's not bad. You can still get into some trouble if you're hitting a lot of buttons quickly, where you kind of get into something like that. But I can just hit that restack button if I see that problem, and it'll get them back in there so everybody can see it. I'm feeling pretty good. I think it looks good. I'm going to call that done. And I think I'm going to, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow. I've got like a big to-do list here. Let's just check what we got here, make sure everything's okay. Yes. Changing scale. Dropping stack above. We lose a condition. Yes. Move stack left to right. Yep. We've got that. We can do a few more tests of that. Let's take some damage here. Let's go in, do damage, say 22, and damage to players. That didn't really do too much in there. Let's add, heal the players, and then add some temp hit points. See what happens. There we go. Uh-oh. We got a bug. The scale, oh, I know what happened. I think, no, wait. I was going to say this, the scale came up because you only call sprints down you only call move sprints down. You're thinking it's not moving them up, but I think it does it either way. Let's go take a look at this. Stack condition sprites. Animate sprites down. Where's I gotta look at the, the target Y passed in. It's my new X and Y is passed in here. This just goes through all the sprites above. Come on. What's wrong here? Yeah. If I hit the restack button, I bet you ladies get fixed. Okay. Let's see if we can at least know how to duplicate this. Let's look into this. Give everybody 5 damage. Same problem there. What's happening? Are we not calling refresh? Are we... Let's for a second just take off this and restack no matter what and just see what happens. Is that going to save us? Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I'm with you, Smoopy. I get that. But I don't know why. And so I'm theorizing that this is somehow This is somehow not coming back true. So I want to kind of force it to true. So let's refresh. And let's add to damage your health. Let's do 10 hit points. Oh, the front doesn't think it's in combat, so I have to exit and re-enter it. Did that just work? I think it might have just worked. Let's give everybody 5 points of damage. It looks like it's working. I'm okay with that. So that's my fix. My fix is, this is apparently at some point proving to be false, and so what I'm going to be doing instead is this. I'm just going to restack no matter what. I think, though, that I need it here. Right? Oh, wait, no. I think this and this can come up too. Can I go even higher? I can go even higher, can I? All right, let's try that. Okay. And then take some damage to everybody. Better. I think that's what we're talking about. There's my restack. Let's give Miles 20 damage. Sorry, no, 30 damage. 25. Get him down to less than... see, I just adjusted a little bit. There's a slight change there to the stack in that point. I wonder what happens if I do a restack. Nope, nobody moves. It looks like at this scale, there's just a slight bit of off by like a one-off error for the positioning. Notice the gap between poisoned and invisible, and the gap between paralyzed and grappled. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, you see there's the gap again. And it looks like it's kind of like a rounding error is what it looks like it is. I'm okay with it. It's kind of minor, and it looks like it's not something that seems like you notice very often. But in general, the cool thing is now we have that, right? We have that UI there. We've got targeting as well, right? So the targeting can go on there. We're kind of getting a rich UI that is in the style of Dungeons and Dragons, right? Which is what we want, what we're looking for, being able to put these in here. Yeah. It's working well. I like it. All right, I'm going to call that a show, kids. A little shorter than we normally do, I think, sometimes, but I think it's a good place to end. We'll figure something out for tomorrow. I'm not sure what we'll be working on, but whatever it is, we'll do it. Let's get a raid going. It's nice to finish on a positive. I agree, Mr. Smoopy. I will totally do that. Instafluff. We'll send you an Instafluff. We haven't sent you an Instafluff in a while. Thanks for hanging out with us, kids. And Have a good day, good evening. We'll see you tomorrow.